Okay guys, so here is your chem kit in its entirety. I'm going to go piece by piece, explain what we're looking at, what it means to you, how to properly use it. First is the backbone of your chem kit. Now this is not what you received, it is very, very similar. This is for a Clarity series and then what model you have, okay? The important thing is yours is going to say Twilight first of all, and you are going to be looking for the Twilight series 8.2. The most important part of this is the volume. They're all adjusted based on which spot is, your initial fill instructions, and then your weekly instructions. One thing to make note of, this right here, 14 grams or milliliters is 1 level tablespoon, is simply a conversion. As you can notice, some are measured in grams, some are measured in milliliters. So it is just a quick reference for all of these, okay? Now, in no specific order, but ease of operation, here we go. Your hot tub Zorby. This sponge is just going to soak up body oils, soaps, conditioners, any sort of liquid that is going to create any sort of oil slick on the water. This is not to be used to clean, it isn't a toy. All you do is typically put it in the filter housing, so it's out of sight, out of mind. When you put it in the water, it will float at level because the oil has not weighed it down. As it soaks up oil, it will start to sink below the water level. When it is fully submerged, you want to just throw it out, okay? Don't try to wash it, don't try to rinse it, don't try to wring it out. You won't get all the oil out, so it will be contradictory to its purpose. They should last you, if it's just the two of you guys in that size of water, about 4 months. They are very cost effective to replace. I think about $10, okay? We generally always have them in stock. I do appreciate that it is a big drive for you guys, so please just phone ahead of time for any of the chemicals you need. We'll make sure we have them in stock, tuck them away for you. We can actually do a remote payment as well, so it's just as easy as stopping in, picking them up, and have you on your way, okay? Your test strips. These are generalized test strips. These don't say hot tub test strip, they don't say EcoPure, they don't say ozone, they don't say Master Spas. They are strictly just an overall view of your water. The chemical reading is a ballpark. Very rarely will you see it in this 1 to 3 level by design, okay? Your A and B that you want to focus on first and foremost is alkalinity. This reading is accurate, so between 80 and 120, and then your pH rate between 7.2 and 7.8. Without these in line, none of the other chemicals will kick in, okay? So always measure alkalinity first, and then your pH. When you're adjusting alkalinity, it will adjust your pH. So that's why you do it in that order. Both very easy fixes, okay? Your chlorine levels will get into 1 to 2 range after your weekly treatment. After about 24 to 36 hours, they will dissipate down to 0. That is by design because your EcoPure and your ozone are cleaning the spa. So please keep that in mind. Stick to your weekly maintenance. 1 chlorine treatment a week, shock after each use, okay? This is what we refer to as Angie's method. Filter cleaner is filter cleaner, okay? This bottle will dilute out to 8 liters of water. So if you have a 2 liter juice jug, you can use it 4 times. If you use an 8 liter jug, you will use the bottle in one go. I am frugal. I like to use 2 liter juice jugs. Soak 1 filter one night, soak the next filter the next night, and be very, very cost effective. This bottle itself is about $12, so you aren't wasting a bunch of money. It's up to you. You are gonna soak them for 8 to 10 hours in nice hot water with the proper diluted material in there, okay? As it says here, every 3 months. Now with it just being the two of you guys, you might be able to get away with a little bit more. Ultimately, there is no precise date. It's an estimate at every 3 months. You can get away with 4 months. If you find them getting gunky, do it at 2 months. You can't do it too much, okay? Typically with regular rinsing, you can push closer to that 4-month mark. pH up and pH down. You are never going to use this. When you use the bubbles in your spa, it creates a natural chemical reaction that will raise pH. More often than not, I would say 90% of the time, you will be experiencing higher than usual pH because you are using those bubbles. Feel free to use the bubbles. That's why we have pH minus. But you should very rarely be raising pH. If you ever are, it means that there has been an acidic element added to your water. Very easy to adjust, like I just said. Just turn the jets on and run your bubbles. Raise it naturally, okay? pH minus. You will be using this as you will be counterbalancing against those bubbles. I would expect every 4 to 6 weeks you'll give it a treatment. When you adjust pH, it is never an immediate reaction. You will treat it once, the water will try to rebound back, and then you will treat it again to properly address this issue. Typically 6 hours apart. So do it the night before and the morning after, and you're off to the races. In a spa your size, I would recommend 2/3 of a cap per treatment, obviously with that level of pH being a big factor in that, but I like to keep my pH around 7 to 7.2 and then slowly bring it up and bring it back down to that. Easier to balance it out that way, okay? Next up, your Super Clear and your Stainless Scale, both part of your weekly maintenance. Neither one of these will affect water chemistry, okay? This guy is strictly to protect your pumps and plumbing from scaling up. It will also serve as a layer on your acrylic to help any sort of bacteria or scum make its way to the filter rather than sticking to the acrylic, okay? Again, once a week, it won't affect your water chemistry, so don't overuse it. You can underuse it, but don't make a habit of it, okay? You want to make sure everything's protected to increase the life of that spa, bring it to that 20, 25, even 30 years, okay? So once a week. Typically, you are going to go 1 part Super Clear, 2 parts Stainless Scale for your weekly treatment, as we can see here, 29 to 58, okay? So whether you want to use a shot glass, if you want to go to measuring scoops, whatever you want, I generally just use a cheap shot glass and do it that way, okay? Please keep in mind these numbers we're looking at are much higher than what your spa is. Your spa is closer to this size. So we'll transition over to this size so these numbers make a little bit more sense to you. Same ratio, 2 to 1, okay? Protects the plumbing, the pumps, and the acrylic. Once a week. Super Clear Date Night Juice. This is a clarifying agent. What this does is it is going to bond oils and small bits of bacteria, such as dead skin, small bits of hair, that can make their way through the filters and back out the jets. It bonds all those elements together and makes them stick to the filter. When you use this, it will discolor your filter. That will rinse off in your weekly rinse schedule, okay? That is by design so that bacteria and those oils can't continue to pass through the filter. Great, great addition to any spa. Again, once a week treatment. However, you cannot overuse it. So if you are having family over, friends over, big gathering, you want to show off the brand new hot tub, feel free to use it at will, as it will not affect water chemistry, okay? It's commonly referred to as Date Night Juice because it will make the water sparkle for you guys, okay? Now, your chlorine, as I mentioned earlier, once a week treatment. In a spa similar sizing to yours, 15 grams. 15 grams, slightly over a tablespoon. If I were you guys, it is just the two of you. Less is more. You can always add a little bit more if you need. You can't take it out once you've added it. I would stick to 1 tablespoon, not 1 heaping tablespoon, 1 tablespoon. Quick breakdown here if you want to cheat. This lid is 42 grams of chlorine granules if you put it flush. So, simple math would say 1/3 of a cap is all you need once a week. I'm going to say this again, once a week, because no one does this, okay? I mentioned this to Justin yesterday. It is a learning curve. You will make mistakes. It's not the end of the world, but please rely on me, text me, phone me, okay? Now, on the other end of the spectrum, non-chlorinated shock. That is important, guys. A lot of companies sell a chlorine-based shock. If you're using that, you're just using this, which means you're not doing this. So you're going to be adding shock after each treatment or after each day of use. Okay? So if one of you gets in the morning and one gets in at night, that does not mean 2 shock treatments. Just 1 shock at the end of the night. If you don't use it during the day, don't worry. Just shock it the next day. If you go 3-4 days without using it, give it a shock in between, because what this is going to do is oxidize out organic bacteria and any chloramides produced by the chlorine grabbing bacteria. Okay? When in doubt with your spa, shock it out. Happy face, non-toxic. This is good stuff, okay? You can't overuse it. All it's going to do is help clean the water. It oxidizes out within 20 minutes. That's not to say you can't use the spa if you have used this. Non-chlorine shock, it's fine. Throw it in while you're in the spa for all I care. I think I showed you guys, I dumped a bunch of this in my hand. It will not hurt you. Happy face, okay? Now, what we're looking at here is referred to as Angie's method of hot tub maintenance, and that is going to be once a week chlorine, after each day's use, shock it. The other predominant method is known as Ben's method, which is a little bit dated, and what that is chlorinating after every use, shocking once a week. The reason we don't like that is it's excessive use of chlorine, which will raise your cyanuric acid, and then you're only getting rid of the bad chlorine with the shock once a week. That's where you get chlorine smell. You have large amounts of damaged chlorine, okay? Neither way is right, neither way is wrong. We prefer Angie's method. If Ben's method works for you, go nuts. The biggest concern is crystal clear water. Doesn't matter how we get to the finish line as long as we get there. After each day's use, once a week. With the shock, go ahead, use a tablespoon, tablespoon and a half, whatever you guys need to keep the water clean. Again, it's not a chemical balancer, it's an oxidizing agent. You can't overuse it. I'll repeat, when in doubt, shock it out. This is it for your once a week maintenance. 2 parts to 1 part, 1/3 of a cup. That easy. Should take you 3 minutes. It'll take you longer to drink your coffee on a Monday morning than to maintain your spa. I say this to everyone. If you follow this, it is honestly this easy. This initial fill is only when you're flipping the water. If you are following this list, it should only be flipped once a year. As I mentioned to Justin on the phone, it is a learning curve. You are going to need to get your own routine in check. You are going to need to work out your own nuances with your guys' specific use. Don't be shocked if you get 6 months, maybe 9 months out of your first fill. It's not the end of the world, but let's always aim to increase that. You can, in a perfect world, get 16, 18 months out of the water. At least I can, but I do this for a living, so please keep that in mind. Do not hesitate to reach out to me if you have any questions. Never be shy. It's better to ask for help rather than turn into the mad chef and sprinkle all that in your water and then tell me something's wrong. It's better to reach out to me, tell me something's wrong, and let me help you through it. Okay? You guys have a great day. Thanks again for your business, and please don't hesitate to reach out. Again, I can't stress that enough. I look forward to hearing back from you guys. Thanks a lot.